So first of all, thank you so much for hosting this amazing dinner last night.
You have to sit here.
I have to sit there. It was
My microphone is
by
here.
far, for me, the best NOAH dinner we ever had, because everyone showed up on time and everybody tried to leave after midnight, which I think was a great proof of your success in doing the dinner. It's getting established. It's wonderful. Now, let's talk about Axel Springer a little bit. You have been talking a lot about the platforms and transforming Axel Springer. So while you were taking care of thinking where the world goes, you did a great job in-house. Last year we talked about the Global Sign-On project, for example, which is an initiative coming from you. In the meantime, we had the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Give us an update on what is your current thinking about how Axel Springer is digitizing and how is this possible in the world of the platforms?
Well, I mean, being a publisher these days, there is only one option.
Fun?
You have to be. No, it is a lot of fun because I think the best is ahead of us. But the only option is that you have to be successful on the digital distribution channels. I mean, the analog media are a declining business. That's not an option. So we have fully focused on digitization of all brands and contents that we own, and on the priority to monetize content well. And that is today, fortunately, a good position to be in. We have more than 2/3 of our profits and more than it's actually 87% of our advertising revenues are already digital businesses, digital revenues. So it is a truly digital company. But if we are talking about content, then we have two pillars at Axel Springer. One is journalism, and the other one is the so-called classified ads, the platforms to find an apartment or a house, to find a job, to find a car, to find a holiday home. And if we look at these two pillars, then one, the classified ads, is monetizing extremely well, generating margins around 50%. The digital content is still at a relatively early stage of development because we have an unsatisfying monetization on the platforms. It is basically only advertising revenues, but on the other hand, the platforms use our content to drive their traffic, to generate great user data, and then take, let's say, 90–95% of the advertising share. That's unsatisfying, so we are working constructively with Google, with Facebook, with Amazon, with Apple, with others on more sustainable models. And in a way, I think that the whole development of fake news, data scandals, and all that is helpful to illustrate that it is in the very interest of the platforms to attract quality content, reliable content, truthful content. And if they attract that with possibilities to develop decent business models, that is beneficial for both. So looking forward, I'm a lot more optimistic that we will work out a very healthy ecosystem than, let's say, I used to be 3 years ago.
Today you are a content business or an internet company?
We are a digital media company. We are the biggest digital publisher in Europe, reach-wise, revenue-wise, profit-wise. We are now going beyond Europe with assets like Business Insider, eMarketer, Group 9, and other digital publishers. But as always, for publishers, advertising, and particularly classified advertising, used to be the economic backbone. We have developed that also as digital businesses very successfully. And so I think the right term is a advanced media house. That's what we are, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so artificial intelligence was a big topic last night. What does it mean for the media industry? Will artificial intelligence find the most relevant news for me? Will it be user-generated or just authenticated professional news? What do you see where your industry is heading and what the impact is of new technology for journalism?
Well, I mean, artificial intelligence is obviously changing the world big time, and it is, I think, a tremendous opportunity. It will make life easier, better. At the same time, it bears new challenges for democracies, for free societies, who owns and controls the algorithms of AI and self-learning machines, basically influences and controls to a certain degree not only businesses, but also democracies, systems, countries. And that's why it is a very competitive situation and why it is so important to be in the lead. Yeah? Silicon Valley is fortunately very advanced, but China is gaining ground. And some people are saying it's even going to take over the competence that we have in the US. Where's Europe? Where's the AI competence in Europe? We have some players, Arago and others, but I think it's not enough. So this is, in a very kind of general picture, super important that we have that ambition to be leading with regard to AI. From the media company perspective, from a perspective of Axel Springer, I think AI is a tremendous opportunity to simply optimize our products, to be a lot more user-friendly, to be smarter, to be more valuable for our users. And let me just give you a very simple example. We are already using, in certain areas at Axel Springer, robot journalism. Mm-hmm. So people are, at the beginning, they were debating it, oh, that's dangerous, is it going to take the jobs of journalists? And what we see, it's exactly the opposite, because we can now do things that we could never afford and never do in analog days, where we could only rely on big teams of journalists. Let's take our sport coverage. We have now a much broader sport coverage because we can cover matches of the second soccer league, of the third soccer league, where we could have never afforded in former times to send troops of journalists to cover these small games. But now with robot journalism, and since it is a very data-driven journalism, we can cover that all. So our offering is broader, is better, is attracting more readers, and it doesn't kill the jobs of existing journalists. I think it's even stabilizing them. So I'm very optimistic that that provides more opportunities than threats.
Interesting. So classifieds, where you're one of the largest players in Europe, has been historically in the print publications of yours one form of advertising. Now the content side, people don't seem to pay so much anymore for content, and the advertising went a lot online to Facebook and Google, etc. So this kind of niche in your old core business became now your core business in terms of EBITDA contribution.
Yeah, but it never was a niche in our core business. I mean, that is the big misunderstanding. Classified ads were always, in a publishing company, in a newspaper publishing company, the economic backbone. It also, in analog times, it
was like a third, right?
50-60% to the revenues of a traditional print publishers came from classified ads in jobs or real estate. The only difference is that it used to be an integral part of the journalistic product. Nobody would have published classified ads without journalistic content. In the digital world, some of these classified platforms are completely independent and separate from journalism, and they don't need journalism. They can work as independent businesses. That is the difference, but they always were important for a media company as a revenue source. They are very important today, and the next step that we are at the moment shaping is basically you could even say it's a kind of rapprochement, if not even a merger, of content and classified businesses, because the classified business today is a kind of business that you use, a platform that you use only if you look for a job or if you look for a new apartment. But what we want to do is that it is transforming from a single touchpoint business into a multi-touchpoint business that you may use several times a day. Whenever you want to read something, know something about certain job segments that are very attractive, payment levels, analysis of a company, the culture of a company that you may be interested in, and so on. So a lot of services that are broadening the offering of a classified business, and services that are very much driven by content. And we have that content with eMarketer, with Business Insider, with other brands that we own. And we will use that in order to make these offerings more attractive. And that leads, in the end, again, to a closer combination of journalism and classified ads.
Any big M&A deals down the road? I saw your stock price.
If there would be a big M&A deal down the road, I
we should
wouldn't
talk
talk about
backstage
it.
then.
But we are very focused on operations at the moment. But of course, there are always opportunities in these two segments. I mean, Business Insider is. You have to remember when we bought Business Insider.
I remember we were on stage 2 years ago.
Yeah, and we bought it at a valuation of roughly 400 million, and our share price went down by 650 million because a lot of shareholders thought it's not an asset, it's a liability. Today, analysts are writing its valuation is around 800 million or even north of that. It's growing with 45% top-line growth. It is a super healthy and aggressively growing business. That is, of course, encouraging. So we may do other steps on the digital content side. And of course, we see a lot of opportunities on the classified side. Take our recent investment into Purple Bricks.
Yeah.
It's a very disruptive, very innovative model. We love that. We see other opportunities like that. So in both areas, we may do acquisition steps.
Yesterday, we all learned what a great journalist you are, but you have your shop under control. I mean, the transformation is happening, and on the classified sides, I mean, the positions in France, Belgium, etc. You got they're very remarkable. Also, it's an internationalization basically of your business,
More than 50% of the employees and of the business.
Well, we are very happy to call you our partner. Thank you again for the amazing dinner, and good luck for you. And I think there's a colleague of yours coming also on stage. No? Thank you.